Hey, one and all, I am back. We are working on our Scratch Asteroids game, and in today's part, we're going to start dealing with collisions. We're going to deal with lives, ships, we'll call it, and possibly even a shooting mechanic. All right, so we've got a lot. I'll be honest, I've been thinking about it, but I haven't tested anything out, so this is going to be a lot of trial and error today. So anyway, without further ado, let's open up our Scratch Asteroids game and get started. Actually, before we get going, I want to talk about my goals for the Asteroids game. So here they are. I'm going to give our ship 3 lives, so it's going to be a variable. And then we need to deal with what happens when the ship collides with the asteroid. So of course we want to lose a life. I was thinking about something like the game will pause, and I have a thought about how we're going to do it. I'll explain in a moment. And then if there are any lives left, the ship will respawn in the center as long as no asteroids are in its way. So I think rather than pausing the game, I'm just going to hide the ship. Um, the ship will disappear. Okay, if there are lives left, the ship will respawn, in other words, reappear, but also move into the central location. We'll call it ship respawn or something like that. If we still have time, we're going to create a shooting mechanic. And so this is my thoughts on here. We're going to need a bullet object. When we hit the space key, we're going to create a clone of the bullet. It'll appear in the same location and direction as our ship and begin moving forward. So as long as it's in the same direction of the ship, it moves in that direction. And the ship could change direction, but once that asteroid has been spawned, it won't change anymore because it'll have its own direction. If it collides with an asteroid, of course, the asteroid will get hit and disappear. The bullet will disappear. And then I'm not sure what I want to do about dealing with the bullet because in the original Asteroids game, bullets actually went past the screen and reappeared on the opposite side, but then disappeared after a certain time. We could make it disappear at the edge of the screen, or we could give a timing feature where it is in existence for a certain amount of time and wraps around the screen. That's going to be the harder of the two, so I think I'll not do that. I'll just have it disappear when it hits the edge of the screen. So let's go ahead and tackle this problem now. All right, folks, we're back in our Asteroids game, and it looks like there's some cleaning up we can do. I may need that eventually, but I'm just going to delete the stuff I don't need. Another thing is on these little comments here, if you expand them, you can move them around. So I've just moved these up and collapsed them here. If we're going to be dealing with score and lives, and first of all, let me just shrink this screen a little bit here and move this off the page. If we're going to be dealing with score, health, and lives, we're going to use some variables here. And right away you see ship speed, ship turn speed, ship friction, ship max speed. These are all variables, and we can turn our variables on and off. So if I click on variables, you'll see under variables, let's see ship speed, for example. If I uncheck that, you don't see it anymore. Uncheck turn speed. You get the idea here? Okay, so now, so you can turn them on or off and they'll display or they'll not display. And this gives us one little distinct advantage. There are 2 ways we can use the variables. We can use them for debugging purposes. And I was doing that earlier. As you may recall, we had that max speed and we had friction and I was testing it out. I wanted to see how quickly that the speed would drop. And you can see it sort of dropping as it goes. So that was a good debugging technique. Now we don't, like the person playing the game doesn't care what the speed says on here or the turn speed or the friction or the max speed or the velocity. They don't care about any of those. So when you're ready to say publish your game, I would go in here and just uncheck them all. And that brings me to the phrase that pays. So let me show you the phrase that pays, number 1. This is for my students who are watching. I explain this in every video tutorial. If you don't know what that is, maybe you haven't been watching this and you should probably start with the first tutorial. But here's my first phrase that pays. You can show or hide, I meant to say, your variable for a heads-up display or debugging your program. Okay, so that's kind of handy. And so if you want to do it for a heads-up display, like ship lives, then watch this. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to my Asteroids game. I'm going to create another variable. So I click on variable. There it is. Make a variable. I'm going to call it ships for this sprite only. Click OK. And I don't like the fact that it says ship ships. And so I'm going to undo that. Can I edit my variable? Delete. There we go. So this time we're going to make it for all sprites, and we'll call it ships. There we go. Ships. Okay. So when the green flag is clicked, we're going to set the set ships to 3. And now we have our, we're going to click play, and we have our heads up display. Okay, so it now says ships 3, but our asteroid has a velocity of 1. So we're actually going to have to click on the asteroid, go to the variable, and then uncheck velocity. So now we have our heads up display, and this is one we can keep. Now there's other things you can do without showing the variable. We can use that later. I'm probably going to do that, but on a later video tutorial. So this is sort of a little mental note to myself. All right, what's the next thing that we're going to do? Okay, so we gave our ship 3 lives, and we want to deal with what happens when our ship collides with an asteroid. Okay, so I think in this case, probably what we're going to want to do is do a message broadcast. And so we have the when I receive start, I have a forever. We have a bunch of checks on here, and it says keyboard control. Okay, so we're going to have to do collisions, and we'll separate that out. So we're going to think about how collisions work for our ship, which is a tennis racket. I should probably change that. I'll say that for another video tutorial. Okay, so where were we? We're talking about events. Yes. When I receive start, and we're going to add our comment, and we're going to call this collision detection. And we're going to hide that. So when I receive start, we're going to do a forever because we want to be checking this. And do forever. If then. Okay, if what then? Okay, if I am touching an asteroid, that's how you do collision. Okay, for collision, it's sensing, touching. Okay, and you get to choose what we're talking about we're touching. Could be the mouse pointer, could be the edge of the screen, or in this case, the asteroid. Okay, so collision detection, you want to do collision detection in a forever loop with an if block using the sensing touching block. Okay, and that's kind of long, but that's a good phrase that pays because we're talking about collision detection. For collision detection, put it in a forever loop. And actually, we're going to separate this out. Put it in a forever loop. In that loop, put an if check, or I'll put an if then check. In that if then check, get touching from sensing blocks. And that's pretty much it. Collision detection. So we want it forever because the game is looping. So forever, we're going to check if we're touching the asteroid. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast a message because we want the message broadcast to the asteroid, and we want to do something with we want to deal with what happens when we get hit. So in a way, it's kind of like a block, and we could do this as a block. As I recall, we were talking about the wraparound. We should have done it as a block. In this case, I'm just going to broadcast. I know. So we broadcast new message. All right, what's our message? Asteroid. Ship hit asteroid. And we could we could separate it out. I'm treating this almost like a variable or what you would call a function name. All right, we're going to broadcast ship hit asteroid. Okay, so what's going to happen here is we're going to do a little bit of like a, what's called a multi-threading. So we want to deal with this separately from everything else. Okay, so when we receive that message, so we're already here. When I receive ship hit asteroid, okay, we're gonna set a timer. So we're gonna like hide. Actually, we're not gonna set a time. Well, let's do set a timer. So we're gonna wait. Actually, we're gonna hide it and we're gonna wait. Okay, so we want to go to looks. We want to go to hide, which is towards there. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna hide it. Then we're gonna set a timer. And is it sensing? Yeah, this is one of those weird things here. Looking for a timer. We get current year. We have a reset timer. Do we have a set timer? I'm going to pause the video while I double check to see where this is. Okay, I've got a reset timer. I think I'm just going to do a reset timer, and I'm going to do basically we got to also, oh yeah, we got to take a life away. And let's do that first. That's a control. If, then, so one-time shot. Reset the timer only after. Okay, so we're gonna try something here. Okay, if, and now we're gonna get lives. Okay, so we're gonna get variables, and show variable, hide. Oh, we can show and hide variables. That's kind of cool. Where's our set? Oh, set. Oh, right. First thing we want to do is we want to subtract the lives. So we're going to, or ships. So we need an operator. We're going to set ships to ships minus 1. Ships minus 1. Okay. Set ships to ships minus 1 if ships is less than 1. And the game is over. And if the game is over, we're just going to stop everything. And that's under control, I'm pretty sure. Stop all. Stop all. Ooh, there's a delete this clone. Oh, good. All right. That means, you know, at this point, game over, man. All right, so I add a little comment here. And let's just max this screen out a little bit here. All right. If ships is less than 1, then game over. Stop all just means everything just stops at that point. Okay. So that's the first part is we hide our ship and we reset the timer and then we're going to wait until, and then we can just say yeah. Well, we're going to try it out. We want to definitely show our timer. Oh, look at that. All right, you gotta see this. Okay. So timer is going up. I'm going to click reset timer. Oh, cool. So what do you think? 1, 2 seconds. So we'll say we'll wait till timer is greater than. Okay. Hey, I've now figured out how to do timers. We'll do about a 1.5 second pause. And then respawn if there's no asteroids in the center. We could do a wait until. Or should we do an if? All right. Okay, I'm kind of winging it here. I paused the video just to do a little think time. I think we're going to wait until we're not touching an asteroid. I don't know if we can do that. I was wondering if there's a way we could just detect whether there's an asteroid in the center. We could respawn the asteroids. Actually, do we have a spawn asteroid function? If we had a set number of asteroids as a variable, okay, we're in the asteroid. Let's look at our variables because we're hiding them. We have ships, but we don't have asteroids. I think if we had a set number of asteroids, we could loop through each one. And make sure there's no asteroids in there. We could also then use that variable, like we could even repopulate the world with new. I like the idea of let the asteroids keep going. I think that is the better of those. So we have all these X positions of the asteroids. We could broadcast a message if the message is. Let's see what the messages have on events. There's a broadcast and wait. And there's no if I receive. Maybe that's under control. If. Okay, I'm going to keep thinking about this for a bit, and then I'll come back with my potential solution. Well, I'm going to start with a if not touching. So we're going to grab the touching asteroid, and then we need a not. It's going to be the operator. So we could say if not touching asteroid. Or a wait until not touching asteroid. Yeah, we might have to do a wait. Repeat until not touching asteroid. And I just deleted the not touching asteroid. I snorted too. Okay. Dang it. Sensing. Oh, down here. Touching. That is so touching. No, that is so not touching. And then we'll do a show. Looks. Yeah, I don't think we have to broadcast anything else. Let's just see if this works. Where is our ship? Honey, where are my ships? Okay, let's get this a little bigger. Yikes. Interesting. I never told it to show. Three ships. Bam, two ships. And I'm not touching an asteroid. Maybe I can't touch an asteroid if I'm not showing. All right, I had this little thought process, and this may be ugly, and there's probably a more elegant solution, but sometimes the simple solution that is slightly ugly is better than no solution at all. What if we had a variable that just determines whether the center is clear of asteroids or not? The asteroid would have to manage that. And we could just have a variable which is the state of the center of the screen. So we're going to go to our asteroid. We're going to create a variable for it. We're going to make a variable for all sprites. And is center clear? I could even do of asteroids. Some people like think, man, that's such a long variable name, but you know what? It's so readable. It's center clear of asteroids. That's going to be a Boolean, true or false. Okay, and we're going to begin when I receive start. We're going to set that variable to true. Can we make it Boolean? Well, we'll set it to 1 or 0. Actually, let's do this. We know it's going to be clear the moment we've placed all of these, because remember we said the repeat 10 times, go to repeat until blah, blah, blah. You know what? Let's create another variable of all of our asteroids as well. We're going to do big, medium, and small. So we're going to just put big asteroids. And we're going to set that variable to 10. And we're going to repeat big asteroids time. So that now we have a variable that always tells us how many big asteroids there are. And then we're going to set is after we've created all of our asteroids. Don't want to delete it. I just want to move it. There we go. Center clear of asteroids. Currently it is 1. When I receive start. Okay. That's wraparound. Let's do another one, I guess. This is getting kind of complicated, isn't it? Okay, another one I receive start. And it's going to be another forever loop. And add a comment. I'm going to have to do an if else. This is the first time I think I've done an if else in this whole game. So we're going to say if, and we're going to do a big long check. I'm really curious if this is even going to work. Variables. We're going to set that at some point. We're going to even duplicate it. Okay. We want the X and the Y position. Drag them out. We're kind of like do the reverse of this right here. I'm going to duplicate that whole big giant thing. Okay, we did that. That's going to be 1. Otherwise, it's going to be set to 0. All right, we're just going to run it and see if we can see this happening. 1, 0. 1. Look at that. 0. Oh, no zeros. We're not doing it for all the asteroids. For all the clones. It's not clear. Not clear. Not clear. Not clear. It should be clear at some point. Pretty soon it should be clear again. Right about now. There's like nothing in there. All right, maybe we have to do this a little different. Let's try 55. And run it again. Not clear. Clear. Should be not clear. At some point they should be clear again. Should be clear now. It's like nothing. This is going to be some trouble, I sense. Okay, I did a little reorganization, and we're using 50 as the magic number, and we're going to run it. And right now, it's not clear, it's clear, and it's not clear, it's clear. Well, we're going to test this out anyway. So the idea here is if that's equal to 1, we can spawn our ship. Okay, let's go ahead and stop this. Okay. Repeat until, we'll get rid of that. Until is center clear of asteroids equals 1 is equal to. Wait until is what we need. All right, take that out. Take that out. Move this up. Take that out. Okay. Then we're going to show, and I got rid of show. This is quite the algorithm. I didn't think it was going to be quite so intense. All right, let's try it out again. Run it. Don't want to get hit. Oh, I got hit. I'm back. Oh, I got hit. I'm back. That's actually pretty good. Oh, the game ended because I'm out of ships. I think it works. Okay, let's do a little bit of a recap. Whew, we did a lot in here. Okay. So when I collide the ship asteroid, well, we got this message here. So ship, we should have some forever if touching somewhere in here. Or did I do it from the asteroid's point of view? I don't even remember where I put it. I think I put it in the other one, the ship. All right, there's got to be a thing to clean up all this stuff. Okay, so somewhere is probably a forever check. Oh, there it is. When I receive start, collision detection, forever. If we're touching the asteroid, we broadcast ship hit asteroid. So the asteroid is checking to see whether it is clear of the asteroids. Okay, and we'll get to that in a moment. When I receive the ship and hit the asteroid, we hide the ship, and no collision can be detected when the ship is hidden, we discover. We're going to take 1 away from ships, which, by the way, is a global variable. It's a variable that's for all sprites, so everything can check that at any point. We subtract 1 from ships. If we ever get below 0, or if we get below 1, it becomes 0. Then the game is over. We stop all. And then we did a little timer. So we did a reset of the timer, and we wait 1.5 seconds. We give a little bit of a pause because we got hit. And then we double check and make sure that the center is clear of asteroids. And once it is, we show our ship again. Our ship reappears. So that is a really good algorithm for this. Okay, so how do we convert this into a phrase that pays? Okay. One of the things is, I would say, if you're not sure how to manage something in a game, create a variable that becomes a flag to manage that. In our case, is center clear of asteroids is our variable flag. Okay, so this is a phrase that pays number 3. So if you ever get stuck on a game mechanic, try creating a variable to manage the mechanic. In our case, it was is center clear of asteroids. Okay, and in that case, we just set it to 0 or 1, 0 or 1. 0 means no, also known as false. 1 means yes, true. It is 1, true, that the center is clear of asteroids. It is false, 0, that the center is clear of asteroids. This is our phrase that pays number 4, a variable that is set to only a 0 or 1 is considered a Boolean variable. It represents true or false, yes or no, on or off, a value or not a value. 0 is nothing. It's the same as no, false, off, not a value. All right, you get the idea? This becomes a flag. So that's our 4th phrase that pays. Okay, let's see where we're at on our time here. We're at 32 minutes. Okay, going a little longer than I thought we would. Let me just see what we still have left and what we may or may not be able to get to. Okay, I think we have just enough time to just create a very simple shooting mechanic. We're going to need a bullet. We're going to use a tennis ball for that. And then when we hit the space key, we'll create a clone of a bullet, and we'll see if we can get the bullet to fly. And we'll deal with the collision next time. But let's just see if we can get that working. So we need another sprite and ball. You know what? Looks close enough to a bullet to me. And the size is really large. We're going to have to make this like 10 and 10. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so we want our event. Green flag is clicked. We want to make sure we have hidden any of those balls. Okay. And then on our ship, what we're going to do is in our forever, we had a keyboard control. That's a keyboard control thing. Keyboard control. Okay, so we're going to do another if check. If key sensing space is pressed, broadcast a message. Shoot. Oh, shoot. Okay, so when we press space, we broadcast the message, shoot. We go to our ball. When I receive shoot, going to make a clone. Create a clone of myself. I'm going to do a go to position. We're going to set pointed direction. And then we're going to forever move. We could do repeat until. And we could do our move. Let's just repeat until we collide with the screen. Touching edge. All right, right now we're just going to test it out. No! Well, that game ended too fast. Oh, probably have to show. Huh. So we want to go to the ship's position. Can I get the ship's position? That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. We have the bullet. We're able to shoot a bullet. And we can see when we shoot the bullet that it goes one direction only. And, oh, I noticed that the ball is hitting the edge. And it's just sitting there. That's not good. Oh, then we hide. Huh, that's easy. Let's try it one more time. There you go. Interesting. We can shoot when we are showing. All right, we have a lot of problems to solve. I'm going to have to save that for the next time. At least we got the very intro basics of shooting. I still want to thank you for sticking it out and watching this so far, because honestly, when I began, I wasn't 100% sure I would be able to get what I got going working. I've got 4 phrases that pays, and you can go back to the video and find those if you're one of my students. Obviously, you should just be watching this because it's kind of, I mean, you can have fun. You might think of your own way of solving the problem. I would love to hear from you if you had a different way of doing it if you're one of my students. Anyway, this ends our video tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.